All right, party people, no place to be, vandals, and everybody else. This is a brand new Buzz Bites. This might be the last one, maybe. I don't. I'm not sure. No, we're gonna do another one. My bad.
Yeah, we're doing next Friday. We're doing the bear.
Yeah, we're actually dipping our toes into something new with the TV shows. I guess that follows with you've been seeing this around maybe a little bit. We are X the Everything podcast. We're not really. We're gonna announce the name later on, but yeah, that's kind of the joke we're running with right now. And yeah, we're tackling TV shows for the first time on Buzz Bites. What show are we talking about, Joseph?
I am a Virgo. It's an Amazon Prime original. It's a 7-episode series that came out mid-June, beginning of June.
Yeah, it's not super old, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
new either.
Mm-hmm.
It's just right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a summer release. So
But I
this is
haven't really heard too much about it, which is a shame because it's a phenomenal show. Like we're gonna get like deeper into that. But what were you gonna say, Joe?
I don't remember.
Okay. Oh, before we get into the show, do you have a check-in?
Yeah, well, I've been just catching up on some reading. I was reading All Star Superman, which so far I haven't been enjoying all that much. The second half is better, but yeah, I don't know. I guess people who like it is fine. I guess it's just not for me. What else? Watched. I finished watching This Fool, the second season. So I watched that. Did we do any movies this week? Oh yeah, Never Have I Ever. I think we have one episode left of that, one or two. We're catching up on that one, so that's pretty much what I've been doing this week. Oh, and I've been reading, catching up on the Alan Moore Swamp Thing. I've got one trade left to read of that, so yeah.
Trailblazing, right on.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Cookie, how's it going? Lady in red tonight. If you saw her Instagram posts, she's gone all red with her makeup TikTok video tonight.
Right on. Lady in Red. Old 80s classic. Right on.
Yeah.
So
how about you, man? You got to check in or what?
Yeah, I watched Agrippa stuff since our last show where we talked about check-ins because we skipped the Richard episode. But like I watched a bunch of shows. I watched everything so far for Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. I really like this season. It's picked up. Each episode's kind of about a different crew member, and they've all been pretty fun. Like I really digging this cast now. I'm really digging the second season. I watched Secret Invasion. Like all the shows that I watched, it's the only one that's terrible. Like avoid that. It is worse than people online are saying. Like, oh my god, like it might be their worst show. I think it's worse than Hawkeye. So yeah. But
I forgot that Hawkeye even existed.
And I was so bummed about this one. I was almost going to swear off superheroes like a lot of people. But then I watched the show we're going to cover tonight. That's something that I watched really recently. I also watched This Fool. I watched what's it called? Cyberpunk Edge Runners, the anime that they put out for that video game.
Is that the one you posted in the chats?
No, that was Shin Kamen Rider. That's a movie.
Okay, yeah, I found that. I went and found it. I was going through a list of movies and I saw it and I was like, I think this is what Johnny posted in the.
Yeah, it's also on Amazon Prime. Yeah, it's basically a reboot of the classic tokusatsu Japanese superhero Kamen Rider, and yeah, it's a total blast. I really recommend watching that as well. Watched.
Did you watch any of the movies for Wednesday's episode of For One Night Only?
Yeah, like I said, we're going to be watching Tubi Original, so I've been watching a couple of those. I watched. I already had one picked out. Like I'm gonna definitely talk about the movie Shark Side of the Moon. But I also I watched one called Deep Web Murder Show, which really kind of reminded me of like a low budget '90s slasher movie put out by like Dimension Pictures. You know, kind of like Halloween 5 or 6 type of style, but like based more off of like creepypasta Red Room shit. So
Yeah,
It's fun.
see, that one's wasn't available for me on Tubi.
Was it not? It's one of their
No,
originals.
yeah, it's not there. It's not on the Canadian version of the app or whatever. Yeah, there is. I think out of all the list of movies that Elle sent, I think uh, Deadly Dilf and was the only one
Did they
that
did they
was available for me.
did they
Yeah.
have Deadly Cheer Mom on there? That's one that I'm
Uh,
planning on watching. Maybe.
CL, I think Tara and Liana picked one of them picked the stepmother
Okay.
movies, and that wasn't there either. So really, the only one that I had available was the Deadly Dilf. So I watched that one. Yeah,
I read
cool.
The Ribbon Queen, which was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Good first issue. Really bringing back those Avatar days for me. Having Jason
Mhm.
Burrows working with Garth Ennis again. Great creative team. I almost like them as much as him and what's his name?
Derek Robertson,
No, not Derek Robertson. The guy that he did
Steve
Dylan.
Dillon,
Dylan, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I read Rick Remender's new first issue for Sacrificers. It's like I expected, man. It's pretty dramatic, let's just say.
Yeah.
But and I dig it. Like Fumara's art in it's gorgeous. It's a very beautiful book. So like I highly recommend checking that out. And
And when
I've
did
been
that drop?
this week.
It just dropped this week again.
And I also been rereading Deadly Class. Like I just finished the third trade because I was talking to you about us maybe
Yeah.
reviewing that
Yeah.
slowly over the collected
When we come back, yeah. So I'll get started on that.
and I think that's the first three trades. So
Yeah, so I'll get started. I've only read the first trade a while back, so now I got all 4 volumes of the Absolute collection, so the oversized hardcover. Yeah, so that's one of the things we'll be doing when we come back in
I also
September.
I also rewatched the show for Deadly Class, and
It's a good show.
we'll
It's a
talk
really
about
good
that when we cover the first trade because like it covers the first 2. Or when we do the first episode of that, I don't see why not. We'll discuss the adaptation, but that's pretty much my check-in.
Nice. Yeah.
All
So
right. I'm a Virgo.
I'm a Virgo. Let's get to it. All
Did
right.
you notice that Chun, the guy who works for TKO Comics, co-produced this? Or
Did he?
producer? Yeah,
He's
the
a
guy.
producer on it.
Yeah, he wrote
Oh.
Seven Deadly Sins and Dr. Fang.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that.
I think that's might be why it had such good comic book art in it.
Okay. Is he like does he no, he doesn't write on it though. Oh yeah, he is. He's a co-writer right there. Cool.
Yeah.
He wrote 1 episode. And this guy, the creator writer is Boots Riley.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He's done he's worked on Sorry for Disturbing You, is that it?
Yeah.
That's another one of his. That was a next Netflix movie, right?
That makes sense. Okay. Like, yeah, this has that same kind of almost kind of humor to it. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he's done quite a bit of writing on other stuff. I guess he's written songs for soundtracks as well. Like I was going through his IMDb the other day and just kind of doing a little digging on that. So, yeah.
He's got a cool ass name too.
Yeah.
Like a bluesman name.
So, yeah, and the main actor is the kid or the guy. I don't know if he's a kid. I shouldn't say kid. Is
to us, he's a kid, man. He's like what, 19 years old. Like he looks as young as he's supposed to be because he's supposed to be just. I think they said 19, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there. They're young adults, like so. And I thought he looked familiar, and I didn't know where I saw him from. What's his name? Jarrell Jerome. He does the voice of Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse movies. He was also in Moonlight. He was in Mr. Mercedes, and that's where I recognized him from. He plays the neighbor that mows the lawn and everything in the neighborhood for the detective. What was his Jerome Robinson in that one? Then he has a bunch of other credits here of stuff that I haven't seen, like Concrete Cowboy with Idris Elba, which I should go watch because it has Idris in it, and I dig him. He's got quite a few credits to his resume. So yeah, so that's cool.
He's really good, man. He's got some pretty good comedic timing because he plays like this very coy, unaware, unassuming, innocent kind of dipshit in this show, and like he's perfect at it, man. Like the faces he pulls when like he discovers stuff and accidentally does the wrong thing. Like I think that he's got like really good comedic timing.
Yeah. See here, it's this summary of it is the coming of age joyride of Cootie, a 13-foot tall man who escapes to experience the beauty and contradictions of the real world. He forms friendships, finds love, navigates awkward situations, and encounters his idol, the hero. So that's the summary they give for the show. The finds love. His love interest in this is played by Olivia Washington. Her name is Flora. I'm not super familiar with her. I went through and all the other things she's been in, I haven't really watched. Like The Tragedy of Macbeth, Mahala, The Corner Store. These are all things that I haven't.
That's the Macbeth movie with Denzel Washington, right? I do want to watch that. I just haven't yet.
Possibly, yeah. That came out in 2021.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A Christmas Holiday in Harlem. She was also in another one. She was in Chicago PD, I think it's the series. Yeah. So she's been in a few things, just not a lot of stuff that I've seen. She has quite a resume. That's her love interest. Then you have the first friends he makes when he comes out. You have Cara Young, who plays Jones. That's the girl with the shaved head who can.
She's like Professor X. She can basically mentally project her ideals into your head while she kind of speaks them to you in very plain language, and she's basically the hero of the show. That's one of the kind of things I liked about this is it was Cootie's adventure,
and Cootie's love interest, Flora, she's got super speed. She's like a speedster. Not everyone has powers, but a lot of the characters in this do have these strange powers. Another one of the friends is Felix, played by Brett Gray, who I'm not very familiar with. Then you have the adoptive parents, which is played by the adoptive mother is La Francine, is Carmen Yehogo, or I don't know how you pronounce it, and Mike Epps, who plays Epps, who plays Martise.
Which is always so good to see Mike Epps, man. I'm going to be hot taking right now, but I like Day Day better than Smokey. You know what I mean? I'm a huge Day Day fan from the Friday movies. So, whenever I see that crazy bastard, I always crack up, man. I love Mike.
Yeah, he's good. I like him pretty much any role he's been in. He's been good. He was in Resident Evil. He was in Hangover. Like you said, Next Friday. He's been in a lot of stuff. You see him a little bit everywhere, and he's great in everything he does. Then your main antagonist, we'll say, or flawed hero will be, who's called the hero, is played by Walton Goggins. Many people remember him from Justified, or what was the one with Danny McBride where he plays the principal? Is it called Principals?
Vice Principals. He's also
Vice Principals.
He's also on Righteous Gemstones with him. He was in Sons of Anarchy. He played Venus. Walton Goggins is one of the great character actors. He's also in Predators. He was the convict guy. He's got so many great roles, and he was so good in this, man. When he wakes up and he dances around in his underwear to Wichita County Lineman by Glenn Campbell. It's probably one of the most awkward but surreal things I've ever seen. And that's just one of the great things about this show is it has these really kind of indie film A24 movie style art house breaks where like it just goes super surreal. And
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy that about it, man. It kind of reminded me of what they tried to do in a couple episodes of Miss Marvel, but like they kind of threw
Yes.
it away and like stopped doing it after like the second episode. Whereas this
Mm-hmm.
show, like it does it every time. Like anytime anybody kind of uses their powers, it's done in this really kind of beautiful like art film way. Like the way Jones, when her like mind palette or her mind power works, like this big black curtain like kind of envelops everything, and like you just see
And the way it comes out makes me think of Nope. Like
yeah,
the way the alien in there, like the way it just flips out and kind of you see it flapping and stuff. It's a cool effect that they use. Then you know she's kind of, but it's subtle the way they introduce it, right? Like the first time you're like, oh, what the hell was that? And then once you understand it, that's when they really go, really make it obvious when she starts using her powers and stuff. And it's really cool, like you said, when that black curtain just pops out from behind her, like almost like a living cape, or like that's coming out from behind her. It's
kind of like
really
Spawn's
cool.
cape, you know?
Yeah, like Spawn. Yeah, like a living cape, and then it just like envelopes the world, and then it's like you said, it's very surreal because then it becomes like an act, a play, where what she's preaching or trying to communicate becomes like this play, and the people become actors within her story, right? The
And
people that she's talking to, and it's really cool the way they do it.
yeah, it almost looks like pop-up book style visuals. Like, yeah, it's really, really neat, really artistic style is showing like, somebody mentally projecting things to you. Like,
Hmm.
love the way they did that. And I also like the way Flora's speedster effects look,
Hmm.
and like the noise that it makes. It hella reminds me of an Akira when the little puppets attack Tetsuo when he's in his bed. It makes that same blop 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 noise.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. And then like they do her backstory, and it's cool the way she has to train herself
Yeah, it
to adjust to our like normal people, right? Like to like because she doesn't understand. You think she can't. She has a hearing problem or something. It's just because it's like when you put a record player on the slower speed, and so she has to train herself to understand the way we speak and stuff. It's cool the way they do those parts when they do her backstory when she's born and everything, and her childhood and growing up. It's really
yeah,
cool. It's
it
really
was
cool how they do all that.
it's a neat perspective because usually you see the speedster thing as like, oh, they're just fast, but like it's not that it's just that she's fast. It's everybody else is so
Just
slow.
slow. Yeah, that's what she says. I'm not fast. You're just slow.
Yeah, I really like that perspective. And yeah, the backstory of her and like her parents, like at first, like they could not communicate with each other, and then she started leaving notes around the house because like literally, like she'd have to sit there for like hours and hours to finally see her
Which
parents.
which felt like hours and hours to her because, like she said, we're so slow.
Just to hear them talk. So like finally she devises a way to like slow herself down. She makes writes down this phrase, this piece of paper, and has her parents read it 20 times so she can slowly work out the noises that they make to translate. So and then like it's really cute the way they did it, man. There's a
Yeah,
lot of really
super cool.
heartwarming, cute stuff in the show, and there's a lot of really kind of cynical, dark stuff in the show too, which
Hmm.
is
Well,
really
just the beginning when he's born,
yeah.
when Cootie's born, just right off the bat, like because he's a giant that his mother dies in birth, so the aunt, is it the aunt? Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
sister, right? She's the aunt. They adopt him as well, they become the legal guardians, and then he goes to live with his aunt, and Mike Eeps, whatever, yeah, is the custodians, his guardians. And which they do is they pretty much raise him in seclusion because they're afraid of society, the government, what they might want to do. Like, so they try to protect him from the outside world, so he's not exposed to, you know, people that want to take advantage of him, maybe, or the toxic behavior of people in society. So they try to shelter him for as long as they can.
And they have some points, man. I love the whole thing with the Bing Bang Burger because like his whole life he watches these advertisements and he
Yeah,
just sees this glorious, beautiful burger, and like he
yeah,
idolizes it. So and when he finally gets to go out and have it, it's terrible.
Yeah. So like, yeah, because he's used to home cooking his whole life, right? Like, and he lives his whole life through what he sees on television, what they tell him, and by looking out the window, right? He just so so when he first meets that group of friends, uh, he just recites like oh, one of the guys works at a
Auto
car.
Area, which is basically like a spoof on AutoZone.
Yeah, and then he just sings like
The
the show
jingle.
tune, the jingle from the commercial, right? And they're all like, it's a trip because he has no social skills. He's never interacted with anyone but his aunt and uncle. So it's really cute the first time he meets, and the first person he has an interaction with from the outside world is actually his neighbor that lives in the house on
Still, yeah.
up on stilts, kind of. Yeah, and he's like, "Yo, it's gonna be the neighborhood barbecue, man. You want me to sneak you some?" And that's his first encounter within the. And I think he used to be pretty good buds with his uncle, right? And that's where he reveals to him because his uncle's like, no, because he wants to try the Big Bang Burger, like you said. And he's like, it's poison, it's poison. They keep telling him it's poison. And then this guy reveals to him that, yeah, we used to smash those fucking burgers like crazy. Then he's like, oh man, maybe not everything they've been telling me is the truth, right? So, yeah. So then that's the kink. That's the first little kink in the wall, the crack in the yeah, before the floodgates open. Yeah, so it's really good the way they kind of slowly, and like the the pacing's really good, but they don't rush it. Like for a show that's like half an hour episodes, and there's only 7 episodes, so it's a pretty quick watch. The pacing, I think, is they do a fantastic job. They don't rush to stuff, but they can't take their time either because it's only half-hour episodes and there's only 7 of them. So yeah,
And there's a lot of story in there too.
Mhm.
You get good looks at pretty much all the characters' lives, except for Felix. Kind of but like the character Scat, Jones, like they all kind of, and then the hero kind of almost gets a whole episode to himself at the end, so you can almost understand him. But like he's such an abstract, surreal character. I still love what they did with him, though. He needed to be the way he was, and I like that they didn't just try to make him like, oh, he's just dumb and evil. Like he's a nuanced character, even though he is psychotic. Like they did give him nuance, in that like he is actually believing that he's trying to do good. You know what I mean? Like it's not just some Nazi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which they could have really easily did on a show like this. And
well, it's they definitely nail the point home of how people of a certain class become disconnected from the rest of the world. So they see things through a lens that nobody else is living in. So they try to base their assumptions of society on maybe false narratives, which doesn't really apply to the rest of society, and he kind of falls into that category. Like we said, it's kind of a spoof on the Bruce Wayne type thing. Like, yeah,
this thing is a complete deconstruction, superhero deconstruction, and probably one of the more fun ones I've seen. And I also liked it homaged Watchmen very tastefully with the parking tickets cartoon. It kind of alluded to things that were happening in the show, but like really esoteric way, like masterful stuff. I think that the show, but like you were saying, like it keeps a very brisk pace, but there's so much in there. You know what I mean? Like there's the cartoon parking tickets that's showing kind of what's going to happen, but like in a very esoteric, surreal way, that when you finally see what they were talking about in that, you're just like, man, like there's some really cool next level stuff going on. Like I think Boots Riley's got some 4D chess going on.
And the whole like because his mom or aunt, whatever you want to call, it's pretty much his mother, buys him those comics, right? So his whole young adult life, he's been reading this hero comic, and it's based on the hero character, the antagonist, we'll call him. Not really a bad guy, but not really a bad guy, and it kind of like don't meet your heroes type deal.
Yeah, for poor
yeah, because he has an encounter, and obviously he's a 13-foot dude who maybe gets miscast as something he's not, and he doesn't take it very well, right? So he gets cast in a negative light and he doesn't take it very well. So then he's like, okay, if they want a villain, I'll be the villain, right?
Well, and then you kind of learn that basically Cootie was raised the opposite of the hero. They were both raised with these very skewed looks at society. But Cootie, his adopted parents basically wanted to raise him to be a revolutionary. They wanted him to eventually try to burn the system down. Whereas he found these friends that actually try to teach him about being more inclusive with your community and being more communal. And like, so it's really, he's got more of a confliction going on than the hero. But the thing is they're opposite sides of the same coin. I think that they played that very well, that like they both were raised with very diluted senses of how society works. And
one is you fold to you follow the establishment, and the other side is completely like anti-establishment, right? So like you said, you got the two sides to the coin, and they end up fighting too. They end up having an encounter, a couple actually, and which one was pretty goddamn brutal,
Yeah.
The last one is pretty brutal till Jonesy steps in and kind of, like you said, Jonesy ends up being the bigger hero in the whole story, right? So
yeah, she's badass too. Like I love the first scene where like they're at the, where they show just how crazy she is. The cops are trying to force all those people out of the apartment building, and she just like runs up on them, and I like their character a lot.
Yeah, she's got good character. The look, the shaved head, the tats on the neck, the kind of punk rock vibe. She's got a great look, great character design, and Cootie. Like, man, they must the wardrobe people on this must have had a blast trying to come up with. Okay, you got a 13-foot dude, and you got to try to dress him right. So it's some of the outfits he had are pretty funny, pretty fun.
Yeah, all the different patterns like just sewn together. Like they'll have some plaid and just a solid.
Yeah, kind of like a what do you call it?
Patchwork. Yeah, or
those blankets. What are they called?
The quilts.
Yeah, like quilts. Yeah, like quilts, like different just patchwork stuff. It's pretty cool. It's fun. Like his sneakers too. They try to make everything look like what he sees on television, like Nikes. They try to make the shoes look like Nikes or like basketball sneakers as much as possible, So it's kind of funny.
And there's a lot of other neat stuff in the world. Like there's that crazy cult that like thinks and they dress like Steve Jobs, but like they believe that he was prophesized to come, and like they're kind of stalking him, like really kind of goofy fun stuff all around like that. They're the hero also hires like assassins to try to kill him, to train him for when his supervillain finally does come. And like the game of slap hands, man, like bringing it back to junior high school.
Hey Al, come to us from the parking lot pulling donuts, like in the show.
Oh yeah,
that first night he goes out on the town with his friends. Yeah.
And I know what he's talking about, man. If you've ever been in a car with a real fucking bass, like it's unreal, and it does like move through you like waves. I remember like my best friend's cousin Junior, he had, I don't even know what his setup was, but it was so goddamn loud, and we were hotboxing it, and like when you'd blow out, like your smoke would come out in steps, man. Like because the way it would thump, it looked like a goddamn cartoon, dude. Like. So I know what he's talking about with that killer bass, man, and feeling it like that for the first time. Like, it is an unreal experience.
Yeah, I had a high school buddy that was into big sound systems, and his sound system was so strong that he couldn't really run it too much without his car running because it would drain the battery. So he could only, like, he had it down. He's like, oh, I can only do like 10 minutes. Then I have to turn the car on to make it run off the battery in the alternator, or else I'll kill the battery. So yeah. Oh well, when you're young, those sound systems in the car and stuff, it's pretty important.
I thought the special effects in the show were pretty cool. Like you were saying, that first night where he goes out with Felix and Scat and them, and they go to the parking lot and they're doing donuts, and like he's helping them stay up. Like he's kind of like I love that scene where he,
Oh, and what the first night he sneaks out and he dresses up in the like he dresses up like a big bush or something.
the Twomp monster.
The twomp. What's the twomp? Where does the twomp come from?
Twomp is 20. It's slang for, and that's where they live. I guess like over on 20th Street.
Okay, so the twomp monster.
'Cause
Got it.
For us, man, like a twomp was a gram of pot. You know, like it's a 20 bag.
Oh, because he's like a big bush, a weed or something. So
Yeah,
he's the twomp. Okay, gotcha. I never heard that expression before. Twomp.
You never heard of a twomp before? Yeah.
No, man, never.
That goes back to when I was of affluent. So yeah, that's the one that like actually I knew. Like
nice. That might not. I've never heard that ever. So that went over my head. I didn't know. I was like, twomp. What's a? And I just never Googled it. I never thought of it.
It means 20, but like yeah, it's usually slang for a gram of pot, like just a 20 sack. Which
it might be Trey Swamp Thing too, Cookie. I'm not sure, but I think maybe Johnny's explanation is. See, that's what I thought too. Like, because it's not a swamp, but he's a tree. So I don't know. I was thinking the same thing as Cookie.
They actually explain it kind of like when the two white guys are arguing.
Yeah, having the debate on the news. That was really well done too.
Like, go out on the streets and ask them how they say 20.
Yeah, that's true. He does say that, eh? Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, I really enjoyed that little scene. Yeah.
You're not I'm from the streets.
Yeah, that's a great little scene. I like that. Where they have the panel and they have the discussion, the debate on whether he should be. Is that after he gets arrested the first time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whether he's a hero or a villain, they're trying to a menace or yeah. And that's where he becomes a little disenfranchised, and that's where he's like, if they want a villain, they'll get a villain. Yeah. Yeah, those scenes were great. I like that scene with the debate. That was really good. Like and like I said, it really doesn't take long to watch. You know, half-hour episodes, 7 episodes, and I don't know. There hasn't been any news on whether it's been renewed for a second season, but hopefully,
it's a pretty decent cliffhanger. You know what I mean? And I want to see where it goes, man. Like I'd say that this show is almost at a perfect length. I wish more shows would try to follow this formula and try to pack in as much story and everything as they can into what would translate to kind of a longer movie. Is kind of what like if you cut that's what this one would boil down to. I think it'd be about 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah, like leave you wanting more instead of being like, is it almost over yet? You know,
that's how I am, man. Like I enjoyed all of it, and I wish it was longer. You know what I mean?
I think that's the best way to do a show, right? You want people to want more and come back. You don't want people to be like, oh, if there's a second season, I might watch it. You know. But yeah, man, because I originally watched the first 2 episodes when it first came out just to check it out. And then I never really went back to it. Pat was watching it with me. She's like, yeah, it's not bad. And then we had other shows we were already watching. So we went back to those to finish those. And then you had posted in the DMs that you love this show. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go back and listen to it. And I was like, damn, while it's fresh in your mind, I was like, let's do an episode while it's still fresh. And yeah, so that's how we got here.
Yeah. Boom. Oh, yeah. The Everything Podcast.
Yeah. We love Elon here, so we decided to change our logo to an X. Which, don't worry, that's not at all the reason why. We actually had this designed before the whole Twitter turning into X thing happened, so... Yeah, it just so happened that it came about around the same time. Yeah. Yeah, people losing their shits over that, eh?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think it's because of the X that he chose to use too. Like,
I don't know. You're the one who was telling me what it is, so.
Yeah, it's just a Unicode X, man. Like, he didn't even make a cool one.
No, he kind of went. I don't know, the lazy way, right?
But enough about him, man. Let's talk about another spoiled rich guy, Jeff Bezos. Because, like, I hate to recommend like his stuff so often, but like, the Amazon's got some pretty decent shows, man. And like this, I'm a Virgo. It's totally one to check out. If you got Prime, it's free with it. I can't recommend it highly enough. You can binge it super fast. And I give it a straight up. What's up, Johnny Ortiz? I give it a straight up 8 out of 10 personally. Like,
yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair. I'd probably go 7.5, 8. Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's right about where I'd go. Yeah, after the strike. Yeah, that's true. And we're probably going to go through a dry spell.
Straight up, yeah.
Yeah, because the strike's still going. Is it still like the actors and the writers are still teamed up doing the strike thing? Yeah.
So we're probably not going to get any news, and a lot of shows that people like are probably not going to come back. Like I was saying the other night, the only thing I'd probably say you could definitely set your clock to is like that last season of Stranger Things. That's just going to make too much money not to do.
Yeah, like when things shut down for the pandemic, a lot of shows got canceled because of that shutdown. That were supposed to get second seasons, like Stumptown. We're supposed to start production on a second season, and because of the shutdown, they decided to cancel the show entirely. A lot of shows met their ends because of shutdowns like that. So let's hope doesn't happen to too many shows this time around.
Yeah, that Paul Rudd, what's her name? Jenna Ortega movie where they kill the unicorn. Like, I really want to see that from A24. I forget what it's called. But like, that's one of the few movies that's getting made during the strike, and it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I'm with Randy on that. Like, I'm like, fuck, whatever. But they'll probably stagger. Like, I don't know if they're going to stick with their same release schedule, or maybe they'll push things back to try to, have stuff slowly trickling in throughout the time. I don't know. We'll see.
We're going to get a lot of reality shows, man. A lot of cooking shows, man. Cooking shows are going to make a big comeback. You're probably going to get a lot more, what's that?
Housewives.
Yeah. They love the true crime shit.
Well, maybe a lot of people turned to podcasts the first time around, listening to more podcasts and shit like that. So, yeah. We'll see what happens this time around.
But I mean, there's plenty of good shows to watch right now. Maybe not burn through them, but like, yeah, definitely like check out Twisted Metal. That's another one I can highly recommend. Like 8 out of 10.
Peacock?
That's on Peacock, yes, sir.
We're talking about This Fool. That's a Hulu show. Yeah. What else is slated to come out soon? Like that.
I know that there's a 3rd season of Reservoir Dogs, but I don't know when it's supposed to come out. But I know that it got filmed and they are going to release it, but I'm not sure when.
What's this? Family Guy cut away with Monkey Rider.
Okay. Cookie's good with the cooking shows, right on.
Yeah, it's all right. Some of them are good. Some of them are pretty tame, pretty boring. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Like you said, we'll probably get a lot of reality TV. They'll probably anyway. Big production companies like it because it's cheap. They don't have to pay actors or writers too much. It's a fairly cheap show to produce, so and people eat that shit up. So. What's the last reality show you've watched?
Oh man, like I don't know if you can count it because they were old episodes, but when I was in the hospital, like I said, I watched a lot of Bar Rescue because like on the Paramount Plus, it would start at like 8 a.m. and like they'd play them like straight till like I don't know 2 p.m. So there's no chance of you like really sleeping in the hospital. Like they come in and draw my blood all the time.
Yeah.
So.
See, I don't really watch reality shows as much anymore. I watch more like docu-series more. I've gotten into that more than the reality stuff now.
But I never really got into that shit anyways. Like even back with The Real World, I didn't like it. So.
See, I didn't have MTV when I was younger, so I never really watched The Real World. I maybe watched the first 2 seasons of Survivor. What else was there that was popular? That was a Paris Hilton show. Watched a little bit of that. Maybe the first season of that. You know, stuff like that. The earlier stuff that came out on network, I watched maybe. I never watched Big Brother. I think that's pretty much it. A little bit of Survivor and maybe a few of the reality cooking shows, like you said, Bar Rescue, like the ones where they.
I've seen clips of what's that guy's name? The British dude puts the
Ramsay, Gordon
yeah,
Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. Like he's pretty funny. I might be able to watch that guy a little bit.
Yeah, his stuff's not bad. I prefer his where he goes into restaurants and tries to turn them around to Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah,
I thought Hell's Kitchen was
Rescue.
Yeah, it's too much of like that's a direct competition reality show, and I was like, yeah. But yeah, his where he goes into restaurants and tells people like what they're doing wrong and stuff. Those are always pretty good.
Shut it down.
Yeah, but yeah, he's quite a personality. He's pretty fun though. Yeah, like if you see him when he's not doing his shows, I like his personality. He's got like he cranks it up for the shows, right? He adds, he embellishes quite a bit. So.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You got to ham it up. That shit's all about chewing scenery.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So you got any last words about? I'm a Virgo.
I'm a Virgo, man. If it's a rainy day and you're looking for something to binge, that you could probably binge this in one afternoon easy. Like Johnny says, it ends up being maybe what.
Maybe 3 hours.
3 hours, yeah, roughly, because it's not quite half-hour episodes. They're like 20-something minutes each, like 27 minutes, I believe, maybe. So yeah, man, like it's like watching. Fuck you guys! If you people like to go see all these fucking superhero 3 hour long movies, then you could easily binge this. And as far as I'm concerned, it's better than most of the crap that's been coming out from the MCU and DCU. So.
Oh yeah, like I said earlier, it's basically like an A24 superhero movie.
Superhero film, yeah.
That's the way to think of it, man. Is think of it as like a A24 version of The Boys, kind of. That's what it somewhat reminded me of, but like nowhere near as crude. I mean, there is some.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, AI will save us all. Hey, you know, and this is the that made me think of something. The AI will save us all. Like, you have all these writers and actors that are going and like striking. Okay, you have writers, you got actors. All you're doing is like sucking up to this 1%, these producers, these companies that are so rich. I mean, your creative people get together, crowdfund, go fucking make your own movies. Don't rely on these fucking rich millionaires, billionaires to fund your movies. Go make your fucking movies yourselves. Go fund it. Come up with, if you have a good idea and you crowdfund it, people will fund it. They'll want to see this movie. I mean, why are you relying, like, I understand that's the way the industry works, but man, come on. You don't need these fucking like if you guys, I guarantee it, like even without the influence of like the suits, you know, kind of diluting your vision and stuff, just get out there, find a director, you're creative people, fuck the corporations, fuck the big guys, put your movies out. Indie movies are better anyway.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I do.
But,
I do like a lot of mainstream stuff.
I do too. But
my favorite stuff like is either foreign or comes from, which are lower budget films. I mean, like the highest budget movie I think that they've made in Japan is $20 million, and I think Korea, I think they've only started spending a couple $1 million on their movies. Like, I don't think that they are anywhere near our production. So even those, their highest budget ones are low budget films compared to ours.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's too many people get caught up in the money. They want to become rich and famous and like lose sight of maybe do the art for yourself and fuck the big companies. Go, you know, try to crowdfund it yourself and stuff. I'm sure it's a pain in the ass to get out there and beat the pavement and try to sell your shit. But I mean, maybe the end result.
there's no problem with making indie films right now. I mean, like A24 is one of the studios that's allowed to make films right now because they're okay and with union actors and writers and stuff. There's no problem like going and working for them. And there's a couple other studios like that that are okay to work for. And we're probably going to see kind of an influx of indie films again, maybe a little bit, which will be cool. I mean, like. I really enjoyed that time in the '90s when, like, everything was eyes on the indie world.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff came out then from the lower budget indie. Indie houses.
That post Tarantino boom, yeah.
So, how about you, man? Any last words on this show?
Yeah, definitely watch this. You don't have to wait for a rainy day. I think it's a fun show to watch pretty much on any occasion. I think that it's got a very strong, very powerful message that it doesn't get too preachy. I mean, that there is a bit of preach to it, but I mean, to actually say something that's meaningful, you're going to have to a little bit, but I don't think it gets to the, I think that this show just fucking rocks, man. And it's might go on my best of, naughty or nice list, you know what I mean? Like, I did that much. I really just enjoyed the story, the adventure that it took, and like I said, all the little artistic touches that they added in there, because it's a very, very smart show. Just with even all the little extra caveats that they put in there, and I think if you watch and pay attention to it, like, it'll blow your mind that like somebody actually was able to pull this off, telling a superhero story.
Yeah,
it's like on that Legion level, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good.
But yeah.
So, go check out I'm a Virgo on Amazon Prime.
And we will be back next Friday. We're going to be talking about The Bear.
Seasons 1 and 2 with full spoilers.
Yeah, we're going to have chips on our shoulders like our buddy Phil. So be prepared. I'm going to have it in the title so people will know that, like, yeah, like we're gonna be talking about some stuff on this show, that episode, and we should have some pretty cool guests with us too. A couple people.
I think we're gonna have a pretty full house for that one. Yeah. See, Elle was supposed to be here tonight, but then something came up at the last minute. So, oh well, people have lives.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. We might do something on Tuesday. We'll hammer that out. Probably off air and like over the weekend. But yeah. This was a really fun, really cool episode of Buzz Bites. I hope more people check out I'm a Virgo, get people talking about it, and maybe get us a second season, because I want to see what's up with Cootie next year or whenever the strike ends. So,
and what causes that rash, man? What's that all about? They never really go into the details. So
yeah,
is it the clothes? Is it the burgers? Who knows?
Is he going to be friends with the hero? Like, yeah, we'll there's a lot of neat stuff that you have to look forward to in a second season. So
yep. So man, go check it out, and spread the word on socials, man. Let's try to get a second season for this.
Pow.
Have a great weekend, everyone.